As for guitar bands, it's pretty barren. And it's because of the music. It's not because of the people or the attitude of the... I suppose the attitude of the record companies is a bit questionable, particularly in England, towards guitar music. But write a chorus is what I always say. There can't be the greatest band in the world playing in a pub somewhere tonight that nobody's heard of with the internet. If you're great, you're going to make it. Yeah. That's just a fact. There can't be any, well, we didn't make it because... we're working class or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're writing the best songs in the world, you're going to make it at the end.
So it's the songs that are missing right now.
Of course it is.
And blah, blah, blah. And I remember going to meetings at the Sony building in New York, and these little bands are like out there waving for cabs, but these fucking executives had cars circling the building for them 24 hours a day. And these guys are flying on private jets, and the bands are struggling to get in a fucking van and drive. And I'm like, man, fuck you people. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason this building exists is because of those small bands that are on the ground. Those guys you're ripping these people off. And it's always been the way, but it's kind of ramped up. And it was this really crazy corporate culture that I saw. And then, when those type of people are telling you the type of music you need to write, you know what I mean? Sure. Then things turn to shit. So, the amount of time, and it's almost like a relationship. If you get into a relationship thinking that you can change the person that you're getting into the relationship with, the relationship's not going to work. Right. So these fucking dudes would sign these bands and then immediately make them change who they were. Well, why did you sign them in the first place? And then by changing them who they were or telling them how to write these songs, the band would lose their identity, and then it became really kind of insincere. And so then you have a whole mess of these elements of how people started writing music and songs for the sake of money and commerce instead of for the sake of art and expression. And there's...
Well, it seems like every year there's a think piece written about rock and roll and the state of rock and roll. Are there any acts for you that are keeping that spirit alive right now?
But it's not about spirit. There's a lot of bands getting by on spirit in England. Nice, they got the clothes, and young people, they look great. Yeah. And they got the hairdos, and they got the attitude, which they got from us, I might add. And, we're going to be this, we're going to be that, And I say to those people, write a fucking chorus. It doesn't matter your attitude. Attitude don't sell records. Attitude don't mean shit. Your hairdo doesn't mean anything. It's all about the tunes, and so there's good lads in bands, you know what I mean? But there's not been a real good band for 10 years.
It's like the fans love it. I mean, like tracks that are like 8 minutes long and they've got bizarre like Rachmaninoff piano solos in them and stuff. And it's like to this day they're still holding on to that stuff. And we try to move on, explore lots of different genres, but there's definitely a sect of our fan base that wants us just to stay in 8-minute prog nightmares. But I think there's a deep prog album threatening to come out of us one day, which I think maybe could be in the future. So we'll see.
And the one thing we learned was, if we took less money, we got more control. Mm-hmm. And the people signing us thought that was great. I signed this band for no money, but they can't make a move without us. Right. We have that artistic freedom. You have this passion about writing. You have this passion about recording. You don't worry about the outside world. You don't worry about how radio's going to take it or how the fans are going to take it. It's really that painting process I was talking about. Yeah. And then you start going, once it's done, you go, okay, well, what's the song you think everyone's going to like or radio's going to like? So that's how we went, okay, well, we don't have a pop tune. So, but this one kind of seems the catchiest. Why don't we give this one to radio? So you start playing that out. But the thing about like touring is, we want to have a really cool show and put as much money into the show and have people walk away going, yeah, that was amazing. But you have to see how the record does.